Here for an influencer series, this time joined by Torsten Wolf. Torsten?
Hey Mark, nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk on a little bit about ASIS 2019 here in Rotterdam, so a couple of topics, and touch on a couple of things that you're passionate about security-wise and things that you're seeing, maybe a little bit about your background. So maybe share a couple of highlights from the conference this year.
That's a very good question. I just came out of a session run by Bernd Rief, and this was about red training. So basically pen testing, trying to put yourself into the shoes of an adversary, looking at various different means of penetrating the organization for different means, either to get information, or another scenario was to actually retrieve some cash from an organization. Really interesting because it actually gets you out of your own role, trying to look, how can I infiltrate my own organization? And if you do this together with certain asset owners that are where the assets are at risk, whether it's, for instance, in our case, predominantly, how do I get information about mergers and acquisitions, or how do I get hold of customer data, which is a big area for us, or even how do I get information about our finances, which we are about to publish. That's really interesting, and I don't believe companies typically step out to see how can I actually penetrate my organization? And if you get the people actually working in these functions to do this, basically step out and see where are the weaknesses in our function, where are the weaknesses in terms of controls. That's really powerful.
Yeah, get a new perspective, right? And really look from the outside in. And from what I understood from that session, also the angle of attack could be different, right? It could be information security, it could be physical access, it could be really anything these days.
I think today it's actually merging. So, and if you want to be successful, you need to think about physically, how can I do this? How does it work logically? Can I actually use cyber means to attack the organization? But also, I think the most vulnerable piece is the human, so the human element. But they all tend to merge. They're no longer segregated. So you need to think about it in combination.
Yeah. So great points, and another fantastic session. People are talking a lot about ESRM. People are talking a lot about business continuity, and this year I found really there's a link between kind of the concepts in and around ESRM about speaking the language of business and sharing that information, understanding the assets, but also tying that to continuity of business. So it sounds like it tied to Bernd's presentation as well.
It definitely does. If I look at my career and how I actually came into security, I think it was a kind of non-traditional approach. I actually started to work in the business itself, in various different roles. So I understand the industry inside out. And then I moved via different steps, including working in the finance department, being a certified internal auditor, becoming a certified protection professional. It gives me a totally different perspective. So it actually came from the other side. And that I think my advantage, and people have taken a similar approach, is we know the business language already and how to talk to senior management. This is something which you need to learn when you come from the typical security field, either from the military or the police force.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, financial audit, financial risk, tie into security risks too, right? And I think business knowledge is definitely key. Thanks for joining us today, Torsten. It was a lot of fun to talk to you. The Influencer Series wrapping up from ASIS 2019.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks. Appreciate it.